Hello and welcome everyone. Today we're talking about the astrology of March. This is probably one of the most impactful months of 2023 in astrological terms. I've been so excited to talk about the astrology of March, so let's get right into it. Here are the major transits for March 2023. On March 2nd at 5:52 p.m., Mercury will enter the sign of Pisces. On March 7th at 7:42 a.m., we have the full moon in Virgo. On March 7th at 8:35 a.m., Saturn will enter the sign of Pisces. On March 16th at 6:38 p.m., Venus will enter the sign of Taurus. On March 19th at 12:38 p.m., Mercury will enter the sign of Aries. On March 20th at 5:25 p.m., Aries season begins. On March 21st at 1:22 p.m., we have the new moon in Aries. On March 23rd at 8:24 a.m., Pluto will enter the sign of Aquarius. And on March 25th, 7:47 a.m., Mars will enter the sign of Cancer. Okay, even though it's March 6th today, I want to get into the astrology right from the beginning of March. So we started off March 2nd with Venus conjunct Jupiter, which is a beautiful, beautiful transit. You could actually see these two planets in the sky. I saw it the other day and it was absolutely gorgeous to see these two planets shining their brightest. And it's a very optimistic, easygoing, lucky transit. It's one of the most agreeable transits out there. And this can make us lucky in our finances. So sometimes, depending on where Aries is falling in your chart, it might have been a good time to purchase something or indulge in yourself. And it also can be really good for romantic relationships. So on March 2nd, we also had Mercury ingress into the sign of Pisces. So this is more imaginative. This is storytelling. This is unstructured learning. It is a beautiful place for Mercury to be as it allows our thinking processes to be more visual and we're more intuitive and we're able to daydream just a little bit more. And what's beautiful about Mercury in Pisces is it's not factual. It's like more of a feeling. You're like, I understand this, but I don't know how to explain it. So sometimes there can be miscommunication happening with Mercury and Pisces because it's so intuitive, because it's so imaginative, and it's kind of on another plane. So sometimes we can have miscommunication because it can really be hard to kind of articulate our words when we're kind of lost in this daydream scape. So be mindful of miscommunication. This is subconscious awakening, can be easily influenced by our surroundings, misleading information. So just be mindful of what is true and what is not. On March 6th, which is today, we have the Sun in Pisces, sextile Uranus in Taurus. So this is a really beneficial transit for trying something new, stepping outside of your comfort zone. We can be a little bit more self-aware in our interactions with other people. Remember that Mercury is also in Pisces, so we're a little bit more in tune to the feelings of other people. And everyday encounters become a little bit more interesting. Creativity is high, so it's a good time to kind of tap into our creativity and maybe even bring unexpected benefits. So pretty good transit. On March 7th, we have the full moon in Virgo, and this full moon, there's a lot going on. Saturn's also moving into Pisces just an hour after the full moon, so it's going to be pretty intense. Remember that full moons highlight and illuminate anything that's already there, so it kind of just brings everything to the surface. And this full moon is forming a square with Mars and a loose opposition with Neptune, and it's kind of tying in that Mars retrograde vibe that we had, because Mars is still in Gemini. Mars has been in Gemini since August of 2022, and we had that Mars retrograde back in October until mid-January, so it's just kind of aggravating that irritation. So if the Mars retrograde and Mars in Gemini in general has been a frustrating transit, this full moon could be even more frustrating and we could be more irritable. Remember that Virgo full moons highlight our need to be of service to others, because Virgo is the sign that literally services other people. So we're trying to find that balance between serving other people while also making sure that we're taking care of ourselves. Remember that we can't take care of other people if we're not taking care of ourselves. So the Virgo full moon is kind of highlighting that. Virgo full moons are also a really good time to heal. Forgiveness is a really, really big theme when it comes to the Virgo full moon, because we can heal through forgiveness. Remember that forgiveness is not for the other person necessarily. A lot of the times it's for you. So this is a good time to really focus on what you can control and let go of what you can't control. How are you using your energy? Are you using your energy productively? How can you calm your nervous system, and how can you tend to your needs? On that same day, just an hour later, Saturn is moving into the sign of Pisces. Now, this is exciting. I've been waiting for this transit for a really long time because I think Saturn in Pisces is going to be beautiful. If you have Saturn in Pisces in your chart, you are going through your Saturn return. It's starting now. So Saturn has spent the last 2.5 years in the sign of Aquarius. It's been hanging out in my 12th house. So I'm so excited for it to get out of my 12th house. And it is moving into the sign of Pisces. So this is going to be both collectively and individually impactful, no matter what. It's a huge energy shift because we haven't seen this change in 2.5 years. No matter where Pisces is in your chart, you're going to feel it, and everyone around you is going to feel it. So this is Saturn's first time not being in a zodiac sign that it rules since 2017. So it's been in Capricorn, it's been in Aquarius. So it's kind of been this like hard work, and like it's kind of been an intense energy because it's kind of been in like that kind of powerful position. So this is the planet of hard work. This is the planet of structure, stability, boundaries. And so when it moves into the sign of Pisces, I really think that we are going to see themes around boundaries and setting boundaries and making sure that we're actually taking care of ourselves. So like I think 4-day work weeks are going to be a thing that like starts to kind of like rise to the surface. We've already kind of seen it happening. And I was reading, another astrologer put this really well about the ocean. Pisces is the ocean. Pisces is the water. Pisces is all 12 zodiac signs like embodied. So in the water, if you think about the water, how do you contain the water? How do you find structure and rules and stability within the vastness of the ocean? It's hard. But if you think of like pirates and like people out in the sea, there's different rules in the sea than there are on land. So we're going to probably see some shift in new structure, new stability, and finding new ways of being within our society, which is very exciting. So we're gonna kind of see also like what's going on. Pisces is also the sign of kind of the daydreamer and the escapist, and Saturn kind of brings us back down to reality. So we could be getting a reality check when it comes to that. It could be something that we've been ignoring that we can no longer ignore, something that we've been like, oh, like I don't want to see that. But when Saturn moves into Pisces, Saturn's like, no, you have to pay attention. So it could be some like harsh reality checks, that like idealism bubbles popped, and you can no longer ignore those big questions. So we might be asking ourselves big questions. Where are you growing? What do you need? And check to see where Pisces falls in your chart to get a better idea of how these themes are going to play out. On March 11th, we have Venus in Aries sextile Mars in Gemini, and we also have Mercury in Pisces sextile Uranus in Taurus. So Venus sextile Mars, this transit generally favors love relationships. Just remember that Mars is in Gemini, and Gemini is kind of like all over the place, not always super stable. And there's a balance between self-assertion and the need to relate to others. So creative activities are very much favored during this transit. March 11th, Mercury in Pisces sextile Uranus. So this can be a little bit disruptive. We could have new discoveries, could have new encounters with new people, which is always fun. New ideas forming, new insights learned about the world, which I'm sure we'll see with Saturn moving into Pisces as well. And this is going to bring like fresh energy, new insights, new ideas, and this can be a really good time to kind of just like stimulate new conversations and find new ways of being. From March 14th to March 17th, we have a Mars-Neptune square that's coming in at 25 degrees. It's also happening at the same degrees that Mars started its retrograde cycle. So it's a significant degrees. So this is going to kind of bring some irritating reactionary energy. So just be mindful of that, because there can be like this like flair for the drama, like maybe overreacting to situations. So just be mindful, because it's probably not going to be the nicest energy between this period. There's just going to be a lot of drama. Like, I don't even know any other way to put it. There's just going to be a lot of drama. It can be intense. There can be like this like jealousy. There can be some insecurity in our relationship. So like just in general, check yourself and notice like what's going on during that period, because it's probably not going to be like a really lovely energy. The only thing that is good is that Venus is going to be ingressing into the sign of Taurus on the 16th, which might soften it a little bit, because Venus and Taurus is a pretty sweet placement. So this could bring just a little bit of tenderness to this kind of aggravating energy. So as I was saying, March 16th, Venus moves into the sign of Taurus. So this is a very happy place as Venus is Taurus's ruler. So Taurus is one of the strongest signs for Venus. Venus is the planet of love, beauty, how we show affection, what we value. When Taurus feels at home, this feels like luxurious. It's like wanting to take things slow, get back down to nature, really enjoying what's happening in the present moment. And it kind of like brings this grounding energy to our love life and our general pursuits. It's a really good transit for love and romance. So if you're in a relationship, take advantage of it. If you're single, see where Taurus falls in your chart and maybe take a gander, go on a date, but also be mindful of that aggravating energy that's going on. Okay, on March 18th, we have Mercury in Pisces sextile Pluto in Capricorn. So this is a transit that represents an opportunity to move, communicate, or negotiate. So high levels of intensity or willpower may be summoned. Insights can be gained from extreme conversations, strong opinions, extreme or controversial. So be mindful of that. And our mind can want to like uncover secrets and plots. There's a strong intuition, and it's important that we don't abuse this power, because this power can be magnetic, because we can lure people in. And just be mindful that if you're not the type to take advantage of that energy, that others might be taking advantage of the energy. So be mindful of the information that you're taking in. On March 19th, we have Mercury moving into the sign of Aries. So this is like quick to make decisions. This is impatient. This is spontaneous. There's a lack of filter in our speech, because Aries is direct. Mercury is how we communicate. So we can be kind of erratic in the way we think and speak, bold, assertive. That being said, it's also really great because it allows us to speak our mind. It allows us to kind of make decisions without overthinking it too much. That being said, just be mindful of long term, like what those decisions mean. And our communications are direct, straightforward, honest, and uncomplicated. Be mindful of the impact your words have on others, because not everybody loves that direct conversation. I love it, but maybe you don't. And of course, we're going to have quick ideas. So long-term ideas, keep those in mind. On March 20th, we have the Sun in Pisces sextile Pluto in Aquarius. So this is an easily influenced energy. Again, manipulative energy. This is willpower, it's ambition, it's confident, it's brave. Responsible for some great achievements. This can also be transformative because it's in the sign of Pluto. So this is kind of like transformation through self, because the Sun is our expression. It's how we express ourselves. It's our vitality. It's our energy. And Pluto is transformation, growth. So could see some of that. Same day, the Sun moves into the sign of Aries. So we're moving into Aries season, and this is the astrological new year. So astrological new year arrives, first day of spring. This is enthusiastic. This is spontaneous. It represents new beginnings, because it's a new, fresh cycle starting at the beginning of the zodiac cycle. Again, it's more impulsive, urge to take initiative. So if you've been feeling like a lack of energy, a lack of motivation, Aries season might be just what you need. But it can also be short-sighted. So remember, long-term goals are important too. On March 21st, the new moon in Aries arrives. So again, marking the beginning of a new cycle, time to take action. It's innovation, it's courage, it's confidence. This is a great time to start a new project, start fresh. The new moon in Aries falls just after the spring equinox. And it is unfortunately not far off that Neptune and Mars square. So again, it's a little bit more triggering. It's a little bit more uncomfortable. So it's not that like sweet new moon that we want, unfortunately, as it can cause a little bit of frustration and irritation. Aries is ruled by the sign of Mars. So the fact that it's squaring off with Mars means that it's time to take some time to plant some seeds, because Mars is our initiative, Mars is action, new moons are new beginnings. So be wary of quick reactions. Be wary of how you speak your mind, what words you're choosing, and make sure that you're not making everything about you, because remember that Aries is the first sign of the zodiac, so it's a very much me energy, so we can be blind to the needs of other people. So just make sure that you're not blind to the needs of other people and that you're not only thinking about yourself. On March 23rd, we have another really exciting transit. Pluto is ingressing into the sign of Aquarius. Now, Pluto has been in the sign of Capricorn since 2008. 2008. So it's going to move into the sign of Aquarius until about June. So we're just going to kind of get a glimpse of what this transformation, what this is going to look like, because it's going to retrograde back into the sign of Capricorn in June, and we won't see it move back into Aquarius until 2024. That being said, you still are going to see a little bit of what this is going to look like. So remember that Pluto is the planet of transformation, growth, rebirth. So I want you to look back on the last 20 years or so and see what transformation transpired. In which ways have you grown? See where Capricorn falls in your chart to see a good idea of where those themes take place, and then look to Aquarius to see where that next growth is going to take place, because it's going to stay in the sign of Aquarius for the next 20 years or so. So it's going to be very exciting for both individuals and collective, because it's going to be a huge change. Now, this is going to kind of show us what's happening collectively, which is going to be really interesting, because Pluto represents kind of authority, and government and power, right? Pluto is power. It's been in the sign of Capricorn, which is kind of more strict, doesn't want to change, whereas Aquarius is innovative and wants change. So I think we're going to see a lot of growth, a lot of transformation around society, of course, how we work together. Going to see huge transformations around technology, social media. Yeah, it's going to be really exciting. So can't wait for this to play out. Check to see where Aquarius falls in your chart to see where this is going to be impacting you. On March 25th, we have Mars entering the sign of Cancer. Thank the Lord. It's been in the sign of Gemini since August of 2022. It's been too long. I don't know about anyone else, but I cannot wait for Mars to move out of Gemini. Mars in Gemini has been in my house of home, so my 4th house, and I have not been able to get a handle on anything. The Mars retrograde really messed me up, and I just cannot wait for it to get out of my 4th house. Mars moving into Cancer should feel a little bit softer, because remember that Mars is action, it's our motivation, it's how we kind of get things done. And Mars in Gemini has had a lot of us feeling a little lost with a lack of focus, because Mars is kind of I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this, but can't focus the energy. And then when it retrograded, it was oh, I want to do this, but I'm tired, I don't have the energy. It's burnout energy. But now it's moving into the sign of Cancer, which is a cardinal sign, so we have a little bit more more momentum and ability to move forward practically. So looking forward to that. The only thing that we need to be mindful of Mars and Cancer is that Mars in Cancer can sometimes be a little passive aggressive as well, because remember that Mars is our aggressive planet and Cancer is passive. So be mindful of passive aggressive behavior. No one likes someone being passive aggressive. If you want to say something, just say it. But I mean, hopefully Aries season's helping us out there. On March 28th, we have Mercury in Aries conjunct Jupiter in Aries. So this is a transit that kind of puts everyone in a good mood. So it's kind of nice, it's playful, it's also good for creative work. People should be a little bit more open-minded, more relaxed, a little bit more giving and friendly, which is kind of nice. And this is a really good transit for planning for the future. On March 30th, we have Mars in Cancer trine Saturn in Pisces. So this is a really good time for hard mental work, having more energy than usual, which is great because I feel like a lot of us haven't had any energy at all. And we have the ability to tackle difficult problems. This is a good time to speak your mind, express yourself freely. This is also a really good time to believe in yourself and believe in what you have to say. So use your voice. And last but not least, on March 30th, we have Venus in Taurus conjunct Uranus in Taurus. So remember that Venus is our values, it's how we love, and Uranus is kind of freedom, innovation, wanting to try new things, kind of like erratic and unexpected changes. So we can experience some unexpected events, and there's an energy that influences this desire to seek new experiences and excitement. Now, sometimes when we're bored, we like force excitement. So when it comes to Venus, Venus is the planet of love. So make sure that you're not like spicing the relationship up with some drama just to create some excitement, because that can happen here. For those of you who may be single, this can bring some unexpected relationships, but the good thing that you need to, or sorry, the one thing that you need to know is that anytime Uranus is involved in love, that the relationships can come quickly and they can leave just as quickly. So just make sure that you're being mindful of that. And we can also be attracted to someone that we might not normally be attracted to. And it could bring unexpected financial gains, but also losses. So be mindful of that. Remember, anytime Uranus is involved, it could be unexpected good, unexpected bad. So use this day productively. Try to do something new. Try to do something exciting. And that's the month of March. I'm excited for March. As you can see, it's a little bit of a roller coaster. Middle of March feels a little funky. We have two very exciting transits, Saturn in Pisces, Pluto in Aquarius, and Mars is moving out of Gemini, which I think is a big deal because it's been there too long. So yeah, that's the month of March. It's so exciting. As you can see, it's one of the most impactful months of the year. So I feel like a lot of people are going to see a lot of changes happen within this time frame. Because I feel like January and February was kind of like, oh, like, I don't know what I'm doing with my life. Things feel kind of stagnant, and March is gonna shake it up. So that's the month of March. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Let me know where Saturn and Pisces are falling in your chart. And I'll see you next week.